Hello, all of you professional gamers out there in the big wide world. I am Mega Amster, and welcome to another top 5 video I just decided to make on a whim. I had previously made a top 5 games of 2021 that I played. Made it specifically Switch games, they were all Switch games at the end of the day, but I felt like I wanted to make another video, a separate top 5, right? Because we just rang in the new year about a week ago. It's like 2022, it's a big new year. With that, there's a lot of games that are supposed to be coming out this year that we already know of. I'm sure there's going to be plenty more that we find out about later. But I wanted to kind of mention the top 5, the top 5 that I'm the most excited for personally. The ones that I am anticipating the most. Now, just to clarify, I'm not including DLC on this. I'll mention that I have some honorable mentions that kind of applies there too. But no DLC. It has to be a brand new full game that is being sold as a retail game. That's pretty much it. It's got to come out this year. We have to know that it is at least planned for this year. It doesn't need to be a specific, like, set date. It can just be 2022, and that's all we know for the release. But that is valid as an entry here. So, with that, I do want to get into some honorable mentions beforehand. Like I said, I wasn't including DLC. I was originally going to make this a top 10, and then I figured I don't really have enough valid games for a top 10. So, for example, the Cuphead Delicious Last Course DLC almost made it, but I figured it's DLC, it's not really its own game, so I feel like I can't really put it on here and justify it necessarily. But I am excited for that, but that's not a full game, like I said. The base game's been out for, what, at least 4 years now? It's been out for a little while. Also, honorable mentions go to Bayonetta 3, which I am pretty excited for. Looks like it's going to be really fun. I played the first 2 Bayonetta games on Switch, but it's been a few years, so I feel like part of me might want to replay them again before heading into the third one. But it looks great. It looks like it's going to be a different turn, at least according to the plot. It almost looks like we might have a younger version of Bayonetta to start off with instead of the one that we've gotten to know. That's what it appears to be, at least. Especially with the fact that they confirmed it's not... Or, I don't know if they confirmed it, but the voice sounded a little different, so people are wondering if it's a different voice actress to represent a younger Bayonetta. So, we'll see. I mean, it looked really cool. They finally announced it at the September 2021 Nintendo Direct. And, yeah, I'm sure it'll be great. It's supposed to come out this year still. We don't know when, but that'll be fun. Another shout-out goes to Splatoon 3, which originally I almost put it in the list as, like, maybe number 5. But as excited as I am for the game, I'm not good at Splatoon multiplayer, so I ultimately knocked it off. I only played the first game. I actually have not played Splatoon 2, so that I feel like that gives me even more of a reason to jump into the third one, because the campaign was great. From Splatoon 1, I love that. The third one, it looks so unique. I love how unique Splatoon 3 looks. Like, Splatoon 2, a big reason why I didn't get it was because, personally, it didn't really have enough differences from the first game on the surface level. I'm sure there are when you play the game, but for me, personally, there wasn't enough new stuff for me to really jump into the second one. The third one, though, especially because I haven't played the second one, it seems like a lot would be new for me, so that's why I'm considering getting it when it comes out. I assume this summer. I think we only know 2022 still, so they haven't confirmed it, but it seems like a good summer game, so I'm sure we'll hear about it later. Gotham Knights I considered, but I really haven't caught up with that game. I think it's WB Montreal, the same developers who did Batman Arkham Origins, I'm pretty sure. Or, sorry, publisher. I think. I don't know. I don't know the details about that, but I don't know enough about Gotham Knights to really put it on this list, so I just decided to not do it. I'm not really following that game, but hey, maybe I'll have to give it a shot. The one other honorable mention that I know is going to piss a lot of people off, I have at least a couple people in mind who this is going to piss off, but The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, the sequel, is not in my top 5. Oh, man, I know this is a hot take, but I liked Breath of the Wild. I enjoyed it. I was hooked on it when I was playing it. It was great. I have not gone back to Breath of the Wild since originally playing that game. Shortly, I played it. I didn't get a Switch till Christmas 2017, so I didn't play it right at launch. But I was hooked on it when I did. But afterwards, besides, like, the little bit of... Actually, I think all the DLC came out at that point, so I'm pretty sure I played the DLC right after beating the main story when I first played Breath of the Wild. But I haven't gone back to it, like, I don't think since. Maybe, like, once or twice just to goof around in the overworld for, like, 10 minutes. I haven't gone back to it since. It's just, a lot of these open world games, this might be a little contradictory to some of my later picks, but some of these open world games are, especially because I don't prefer longer games, like, I prefer shorter games, to be honest. Like, I don't have a ton of time these days to play a lot of these games, and I want to just get through them, feel like I'm making progress, you know what I mean? And Breath of the Wild, I really, really enjoyed, and I'm going to pick up the sequel, I think. Probably. Most likely. And I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it. But in terms of my hype level right now, another big reason why it's not on my top 5 is because this game was announced 2.5 years ago, and we just got an actual, somewhat actual gameplay trailer 2 years later. And so I think the issue for me is that we don't know enough, and there hasn't been enough info about it. To be honest, I'm on the team that thinks that it's not even going to release in 2022. I think it's going to be delayed to 2023, but Nintendo's still saying 2022. I mean, they probably won't do it to the last minute if they have to delay it, but I mean, regardless, I'm not really excited for Breath of the Wild. I'm still excited to see what comes of it, and I'm sure it's going to be a great game, but it personally it barely missed. It would have been number 6. It barely missed the top 5 list. But with that, let us get into the actual list. Bear with me while what I'm going to do is turn off this music and actually go to some of the reveal trailers to go through here. So bear with me for a second. But number 5 on this list is, if I can get the thing up. There you go. There's your hint right there. My top 5, my number 5 game for most anticipated 2022 games is actually Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Now, there's a reason for this. You might be like, oh, it's just another cooperative third-person shooter, which, yeah, it definitely could be. However, I'm a really big DC fan, especially with Batman. And this game, like, from what we're seeing, the concept is super cool. You get to play as these 4 characters, some of the best in the Suicide Squad. You get to play as them and literally hunt down the Justice League. Who knows if they're actually going to kill them in the game, if that's actually what's going to happen in order to beat certain boss fights. But, like, it looks really solid. It looks really fun. The main thing that is elevating this for me is the fact that it is Rocksteady working on this game. Now, if you don't know Rocksteady, they made the main Batman Arkham trilogy. So Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight. Arkham City and Asylum specifically are some of my favorite games. They're easily my favorite superhero games. They're some of my favorite games of all time. I have a lot of nostalgia for those games. I loved playing them on my Xbox 360 growing up. Arkham Knight I actually enjoyed still quite a bit. I know it's a little divisive, and Arkham Origins was made by, like I said before, WB Montreal, but this has a lot of potential. Like, looking at this gameplay here, I think it looks pretty solid. The reason why it's at number 5 is just because, like I mentioned before, it does kind of look like a somewhat run-of-the-mill cooperative third-person shooter, which I'm personally not necessarily a massive fan of, but the concept alone with all these characters, the writing seems solid, like, it just, and Rocksteady behind it, really, it gives me confidence that this game's going to be good. Plus, this seems like a great game that I would personally love to pick up on my Series X, because I just got my Series X a couple months ago, and this is already a massive contender for another Xbox Series X game for me to get. I assume it's releasing on Series X. I hope so. I assume it will be. But anyways, that is my number 5. Let's be done with that. I'm going to hide this again. Sorry, I know this is a little clunky, but it's the best way I could get this to work. So, number 4 is indeed a Switch game, like you just heard, and that game is Kirby and the Forgotten Lands. So this game was announced at the September Nintendo Direct of 2021, like Bayonetta 3 was. This game is going to be monumental for Kirby, right? Kirby has never had a full-on 3D mainline game. There was that Blowout Blast like eShop game on the 3DS, and there were hints of it in Kirby 64. There were hints of it, but this is going to be the first full-on 3D Kirby platforming game, and that's great. That's amazing. Kirby has needed this for so long. I'm a pretty big Kirby fan. It's one of my favorite Nintendo franchises, and Kirby fans have wanted Kirby to take this step. It's, when you think about it, so many other franchises of Nintendo's have gone 3D. I mean, look at, obviously, Mario 64, Ocarina of Time. I mean, yeah, Samus didn't get to 3D until Metroid Prime, but that was still, 20 years ago on the GameCube. It's been long overdue for Kirby, and I think that the devs were maybe just a little bit hesitant about what Kirby would be like in 3D. Like, I'm assuming based on the controls, which is one thing that I'm also concerned about. Like, not concerned about, but I'm curious about, to see how the controls actually feel. But it looks like it's going to be pretty fun. It looks like it's going to be a great Kirby game. I know some people are saying maybe it's going to be the Mario Odyssey moment for Kirby. I don't know if it's going to be that, to that extent. It still feels like the levels still seem pretty linear. they pretty much seem like levels you would see in like Return to Dreamland or Triple Deluxe, but in 3D. So I hope there's more to it. I mean, and the copy abilities they showed off are pretty much the standard ones as of now, but that's why it's at number 4 for me. It's not higher up, just because I personally need to see more to get more excited. You know, it seems like it's pretty much a standard Kirby game, but in 3D at the moment. So if they show off new things, this is the one part with the gorilla boss fight that seems like it's almost brand new. Like, the 3D boss fights are probably going to be pretty cool in this game. So I'm excited for it, but, you know, I gotta see more. So that's why it's at number 4 for me. But with that, let us move on to number 3. Oh, Kirby, you're done. Get out of here. Number 3, which is actually going to be releasing very, very soon. Pokemon Legends Arceus for the Nintendo Switch is my number 3 top game of 2022. Now, this game's coming out very, very soon. Why did that just freeze for me? That was weird. Anyways, it's coming out in, what, just a few weeks, right? This game, I've never played Gen 4, right? So, like, I don't know a whole lot about Sinnoh. Obviously, this takes place in ancient Sinnoh, so way before the actual Gen 4 games even take place. But just the gameplay potential looks amazing. I love that it feels brand new. It doesn't feel like a typical gym, like 8 gym game. There could be gyms in this for sure. There's probably going to be some equivalent, but from what they've shown in the trailers, it seems like a lot of the focus is on actually collecting the different Pokemon and building up your Pokedex, which, to be honest, has always been my favorite part about the Pokemon games. So that's honestly really cool to see. All the different Hisuian variants we're getting. Hisuian Growlithe is adorable. I mean, like, come on. The fact that you can, like, ride your different Pokemon, they brought that back from, like, I haven't played them since Sun and Moon, so I remember that being in Sun and Moon. So, you know, they're bringing that back. You can fly around with Braviary. You can ride on the Weirdeer or the Bascu Legion. It looks really, really cool. The fact that it's so seamless. There's no menus when you go to catch a Pokemon and throw a Pokeball. That alone to me is like, the potential is just immense there. I feel like this is going to be one of, if not the most immersive Pokemon game to date. And that's awesome. I love that Game Freak is actually trying something new. And for now, it's just a spin-off game, but hey, who knows? This could be testing the waters for future games down the road to really implement this more open-ish world idea into Pokemon. You know what I mean? If it stays as a spin-off series, I'm totally down. That's fine with me. But it looks amazing. It looks great. The fact that you're just running around and all these giant wild Pokemon can hurt your trainer. The battling looks kind of iffy, but like the rest of it, which is the rest of it is what I'm excited for the most. Is that Cleavor? All the new Pokemon. Like, Scyther's getting a new form. That alone puts it up to top 3. But overall, I'm pretty excited for this game. And especially, I mean, the fact that it's coming out in a few weeks is already generating some hype for me. So I'm excited for this. But anyways, that is number 3. So number 2, if I can not screw this up again so I don't have to edit and post. Number 2, if you've been watching any recent live streams on my channel, should be pretty obvious. Or if you know what franchises I'm a fan of, that would be Sonic Frontiers. Now, this game, it's so tough to be excited for Sonic games because as a Sonic fan, obviously, the quality is always mixed. You know, you never know if it's really going to be great or not. You know what I mean? But the potential is so here. I said that about Forces, and Forces flopped. But the potential here is, like, really good. I mean, everybody's saying it's going to be like Breath of the Wild, but Sonic. And, like, I don't think it's going to be to that extent. Like, you can see in some of these shots in this trailer, like, some of the level design honestly looks pretty linear, especially, like, with that tower in the background. So it doesn't look like it's going to be necessarily fully... It could be. Who knows? It's just on appearance, at least to me personally. It doesn't... I feel like there's going to be some limited amount of the openness. But either way, I mean, the fact that Sonic is opening up beyond these, like, linear 2D, 3D levels, that is great. We know now that Jun Sonoe is working on music for this. Ian Flynn's writing the story. This is a game that I do really want to get on the Series X. This just seems like it's going to be, hopefully, an impressive-looking game. It really, like it said, it's all about potential. As a Sonic fan, I want to be excited for the next 3D Sonic game. We haven't had one since Forces, and we haven't had a good one, I'd argue, since Generations. So, it's all up in the air, but I mean, I can't help but get excited for it. As a massive Sonic fan, Sonic's my favorite franchise. I can't help but get excited for it. I hope it'll be good. I assume it's coming out at the end of this year, like probably holiday, but we will see. anyways, where does that leave number 1? Now, none of you will probably get this game. I'm sure most of you haven't even heard of this game. But if you're a Jet Set Radio fan, you probably have, because that game, number 1, is Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. Yes, I put this well above my hype for Breath of the Wild 2, because as a fan, I still have to play Future, but I love the original Jet Set Radio. And this game was actually in one of the Indie World Nintendo presentations they had, since it's made by Team Reptile, who they did the, they've done Lethal League and Lethal League Blaze. I love playing Lethal League Blaze. That was great. They have Hideki Naganuma, the original, or one of the composers from Jet Set Radio. We got to play that again. That trailer is so short. I know. This song, which is called Get Enough, I believe, is composed by Hideki Naganuma. So they got him back on the soundtrack for a bit. And it just looks like... It looks like Jet Set Radio just expanded upon. Now, Jet Set Radio is originally a Sega franchise, but they've done jack shit with that. The last thing they did with it, I mean, they put Beat in Monkey Ball for the main character of Jet Set Radio, the first one, but that's literally all they've done. It's just, it looks like it's going to be great. The Jet Set Radio games have always been about style and music and, like, going around spraying graffiti and shit, and that's exactly what this game looks like. But even more in-depth, I would say. They have a music player they show you on your phone with a music player, so you can just select music at random, which is great. Which makes me think this actually might be even more open than something like Jet Set Radio, which an open world with this kind of game, to me, that is exciting. And it has so much style. It looks like it should be an entry in the Jet Set Radio franchise. And that's a great thing to say. The other thing, they actually had a trailer recently. I didn't pull this one up, but they had a trailer recently showing off that you can actually use, like, bikes and skateboards and stuff, and it pretty much looks like Tony Hawk or Dave Mirra fused with Jet Set Radio. And that, to me, is also super, super exciting. It's just, the more I see of this game, the more I want it to come out, and the better it gets. Now, they haven't said when in 2022 this is coming out, but it's planned for this year. I am hyped for it. It might be a timed exclusive on Switch and PC. I really would love to get this on the Series X. Hopefully the Switch performance is okay, but I feel like it would be better. I probably would get it on a PC at that point if it doesn't come to Series X right away, but I'm hyped for it regardless. Just, like, yeah, listen to that trailer music. Like, if that doesn't get you hyped, I don't know what. But then, if you don't like the music, that's completely understandable. But anyways, why does Digino Gaming have that on their thumbnail? Anyways, that is it for this top 5 most anticipated games of 2022. So, just kind of reviewing, number 5 for me was Suicide Squad, 4 was Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, number 3 was the Pokemon Legends Arceus game coming out in just a few weeks now. Number 2 was Sonic Frontiers, and number 1 is Bomb Rush Cyberpunk. Now, like I said before, plenty of honorable mentions of games that I'm excited for, mostly Switch games that are supposed to be coming out this year. It's looking to be a good year already. I'm sure there's plenty of other stuff that we don't know that's coming, that will come. I mean, hell, there's been a Mario Kart 9 rumor that's just starting to come up now, and who knows, I mean, probably wouldn't come out this year, but maybe next year. That's exciting. But anyways, I think that's going to do it for this video. So thank you for watching. If you did, I appreciate it regardless. I don't do a ton of top 5 videos too often, but I really wanted to now at the start of the new year, just because it's fun to kind of talk about and see, like, what I'm excited for, what I really liked the previous year. It's always a fun time. So if I come up with something else, maybe I'll do another top 5 or top 10 video, because these are always fun to rank and make these videos. And I hope you liked it. Let me know if you agree with me, or I'm sure you disagree with me in the comments below. Let me know what your most anticipated games are for 2022. And hey, if you got any predictions about what could happen, let me know and we'll see if they come true. But anyways, that is going to do it for this video. So thank you all again for watching, and I will see you on the next video or live stream. Take care, folks.